Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your Chief Security Fanatic here, and today we are going to be talking about your coronavirus tech news for Thursday, May 14th of 2020, and I've got two articles for you that I think you're really going to like. Now, the first one is coming from Bloomberg, and it is talking about the Bay Area and San Francisco, aka Silicon Valley. Now, we know that living in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley is crazy expensive compared to basically most of the world. And so here's the thing. If you can now do your job cheaper, working from home 100% of the time, and you work for a Silicon Valley company and live in Silicon Valley, why live there? And this is the calculation that a lot of people are making, and this is what's happening. Now, according to Bloomberg, and they had a couple of examples of this, we're going to be talking about Sachin Dar because he thought that he and his fiancée got a great deal paying $2,650 US per month for a one-bedroom rental in South San Francisco. That is actually a good deal in San Francisco for that kind of real estate, which is probably mind-boggling for everybody else here in the United States that is not in that zone. Now, the reason why they got this is because it's a short commute to Facebook's Menlo Park campus, and basically this is where his fiancée works. But when Facebook announced that their employees would be working from home until the end of the year thanks to the coronavirus, the calculation in their brain kind of changed. And to quote Dar, "It makes no sense paying Bay Area rent if we can earn our salary living somewhere else." Now, Dar also, he works remote already for a New York advertising startup, and so him and his fiancée are considering moving to Hawaii because Hawaii is cheaper, or to really save money, maybe somewhere in the rural United States. And this is what we're seeing. We're going to start to see an exodus from Silicon Valley. Basically, the Bay Area has some of the highest rents in the world, and they've been dealing with an affordability crisis for years. If you look at it from 2011 to 2017, they saw 5.4 new jobs created for every unit of housing built, and this is according to Bloomberg and U.S. Census data. The entire state of California is expensive on top of that. The median price for a house in California exceeds $600,000, which is more than double the national level. So in Silicon Valley, that means most of these workers have been renting because 600 grand worth of a mortgage is very expensive, and therefore they're able to pick up and move very easily because they don't have to deal with selling or renting their property. So Mr. Dar and his fiancée can take off to Hawaii, which is apparently cheaper. Now, this looks like, though, and I'll be honest, at least in this industry, like a win-win all around. People that have these tech jobs get to live for less expensive in areas that are, quite frankly, cheaper. These companies, like the Facebooks, Googles, Silicon Valley companies of the world, can now hire and sustain workforces all over the continental United States and the planet, which means that tech jobs could come to more depressed areas without having those people move, which then in turn helps the local economy. And so if I'm sitting in rural USA, wherever, and I've got the skills to work for a Facebook, Google, etc., and they're hiring me and paying me a really solid wage compared to what I would get in my area, I can stay where my friends and my family are and my community is and invest back every time I have to go to the local hardware store, go to a restaurant, whatever that is. That's a win-win. The failure here, the problem is going to be, as we come to more remote work from home, is going to be the commercial real estate market, because nobody's going to want to pay for all of that space when their workers can work from home. That's way too much overhead, which in turn then hurts other industries as well, because you've got, let's say, the maintenance folks that maintain the buildings, or the mechanical contractors that maintain HVAC as these buildings lay dormant. They're not really needed. Landscapers are not needed, all this kind of stuff. So this is going to have a rather shattering effect, but it's looking like work from home is here to stay, and that's something that we should all be looking at and considering how that is going to shift the economy, and I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Now, moving on, we've got a quick thing on Zoom, and this is both horrifying and a little amusing, kind of. Now, what we are talking about, and Zoom has been in the news for a zillion different things. I've done videos, and you guys can go watch those or listen to them on podcast form on SoundCloud, but one of San Francisco's oldest churches, which is the St. Paulus Lutheran Church, has apparently joined the chorus of complaints that Zooming is not safe because they just filed a lawsuit claiming that its Bible study class was Zoom bombed with pornography. And apparently this pornography was of the highly inflammatory and extremely illegal kind. So obviously that didn't set well because most of the participants of this class were senior citizens, obviously not used to this kind of thing. And so the administrator for St. Paul's Lutheran Church reached out to Zoom Video Communications for help, and according to them, and according to their complaint, Zoom did nothing, which was basically filed as a proposed class action. Zoom had no immediate comment to this suit, but the mere fact that they are flipping this into a class action means that anybody that has been Zoom bombed, from the multitude of school districts to literally the Chicago aldermen, those are the ones that run the wards in Chicago, who got Zoom bombed, I want to say it was mid-March or early April or so, can join this class action lawsuit and really tag Zoom. Zoom is not having a good couple of months, and while I think they've fixed a lot of their cybersecurity issues that the average user sees, they still have yet to really enumerate the problems that they've got on their back end. Their ties to China with hundreds of employees in China, their ties to the Chinese government, not to mention the fact that they just stated and admitted to Rolling Stone magazine that they are scanning our meetings with artificial intelligence, whether they're encrypted or not, to look for violations of terms of policy. They don't allow adult-themed parties on their platform, and how would they know that unless they were scanning? And they admitted as much to Rolling Stone magazine, which I thought was a great article and came out of left field, but I was beyond happy that they admitted that, and I don't think they meant to. But here we are. That is your coronavirus tech news for today, and I hope everybody's healthy. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.